The right to privacy may no longer apply to mass transit.
Mark Strassman reports on the increasing likelihood that what you say and do is being recorded. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie and Nora. Atlanta's mass transit system is called MARTA. This is a MARTA bus, and we're moving through the city's morning commute. 11 cameras on board are also along for the ride. They're watching, listening, and recording part of a national debate about privacy.
We live in surveillance nation. From security systems to smartphone images, cameras are everywhere, capturing funny moments and frightening ones. This man, angry his car was being towed, opened fire at the tow truck driver. Private spaces in public places get harder to find, even when you're on the move. This bus has one exterior camera watching passengers get on. That camera above the driver turns on as soon as the doors open. There are 6 more cameras inside that see everything. But this is what's new. Listen to the sound of my voice. These cameras also hear everything. And that is the controversy.
It's wonderful to be able to have that audio and video component.
Brian Marshall is the CEO of CATS, the Capital Area Transit System in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. In 2011, CATS installed recording cameras and microphones in all its 63 buses, hoping to improve safety and behavior. Signs warn 10,000 daily riders they're being watched.
Just as you're looking out for your own well-being, we're looking at your well-being in real time.
Marshall believes the camera surveillance has worked. In the last 2 years, CATS had only 1 fight on a bus. Workmen's comp claims dropped 65%. Passenger complaints fell 80%. Why? It's harder to cheat the camera. Watch. This woman lost her balance when she dropped her cell phone. She sued, claiming unsafe driving. She lost her case. Transit systems from Houston to Honolulu and Las Vegas to Columbus, Ohio have turned on cameras and microphones. 30,000 kids ride the bus to Houston's public schools. By next summer, every bus will have 7 cameras.
They all have camera systems. Right.
Jim Mays works for Safety Vision in Houston, which installs camera systems in all these different vehicles.
It's all public space.
Right. Everything is a public space. So, I mean, that is the debate.
Especially when cameras have microphones.
The question is whether you want to turn them on or turn them off.
Well, that's the debate, right? So it comes down to what do you want? Exactly.
When people record what you're saying and what you're talking about, it's a very intrusive thing.
Jay Stanley with the American Civil Liberties Union has Big Brother concerns.
You should be able to have a private conversation out of earshot of the bus driver or anybody else. We don't want the government starting to record all of our conversations everywhere in public just because the technology is now cheap and available and easy.
But on this Baton Rouge bus, all the passengers worried more about their safety than their privacy.
If you want anything private, you keep it private. If you're going to make it public, you're on a public bus, so it can be heard.
Some transit systems keep the recordings for up to 6 months. CATS keeps them for 2 weeks and seldom looks at them.
We review these things, the audio and the video, because there's a need, because there's a safety concern.
So what you're saying is that there's nobody sitting around monitoring everybody's conversation?
Not at all. We don't have that kind of time nor interest to monitor those private kind of conversations.
That's not good enough for many privacy advocates. So if you're worried someone's watching and listening, better say nice things or whisper.
Every transit system has to decide how many microphones to turn on. On this Atlanta bus, there are 2 microphones turned on, one in the front and one in the back. By this June, all 531 of Atlanta's buses are going to have this camera system. Charlie and Nora?
You know, the interesting question is what do they do with the information and who has access to it?
Right, the state or federal government. We know what it's like to have a live mic on.
That's why I'm quiet all the time.
Sometimes can be dangerous, exactly.